Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course,
And
Bob.
apparently, Brad has a secret apparently that nobody is aware of.
Well, it's not exactly true, Bob, because we've had a number of viewers that ask questions that they're in their martial arts training and wanted to have some information on how to,
How'd they know you had training?
I don't know, they didn't, but actually they were just asking, and I would say, well, I just happen to be a second-degree black belt in karate.
What a surprise. Aren't you all surprised by this?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, if you're new to the channel, you won't be surprised by this. And if you are new to the channel, please take a second while Brad catches his breath to subscribe to us. We have a subscription button here or here. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. And now we're also providing videos on the martial art.
You bet.
Arts. So top secrets for the martial artist from a master. Brad, why don't you talk about some of your qualifications here?
Okay, you're right, because you're gonna say, oh, he's really a master, because that's quite a title. And actually, I've spent 17 years in the martial arts, and I've taught as an instructor for 10 of those years.
Nice.
And ages from 5 to 76, I think, was my oldest student.
Really?
Oh yeah, yep. And
So it's not too late for me.
right, absolutely. Martial arts is for any age. And it's got a lot of wonderful benefits: health benefits, physical benefits, mental relaxation, that kind of thing. But along with that,
So your designation is
second-degree black belt.
second-degree black belt.
Right,
Okay.
and I spent 4 years in Aikido, and that's an American Taekwondo, and then I spent 4 years in Aikido martial arts, which is a whole different style. It's
Really?
Japanese style. It's a soft style, more philosophical, very defensive. You don't throw a punch or a kick
Gotcha.
in Aikido the way
Yeah,
I
I
studied
actually
it.
have a friend that's in it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really interesting.
He's a lawyer. That's probably why he didn't want to hurt anybody.
Sure.
So,
Don't get me on that, Bob.
okay.
And so anyways, along with my training, I was always interested in the human body, and like, give me your wrist, Bob. We learned a technique like this.
Ow! I knew he was going to do that. Because he did it to me before.
That didn't hurt that much.
It does hurt.
But I always wonder, why does that hurt so much? And it's like, but you're not breaking anything. It's just, and so I thought, I wanted to understand the body more. So and then I would stretch, and the stretching always made my body feel better. And with my back always feel better. I wouldn't have to go to the chiropractor back then. And so I thought, there's something to this, and that was one of the reasons that got me into physical therapy.
Sure.
Once I got into physical therapy, in my final year of physical therapy, my instructor, who was also a black belt, George Davies, actually, he says, why don't you write a book on physical therapy related to
The martial arts.
exactly.
So you're merging your two areas of knowledge.
Right,
You
the
got
contemporary medical knowledge
information.
along with the martial arts, which is oftentimes more philosophical. You got the yin and the yang and those
right,
kind of
way,
things.
way different. I mean,
Right.
different approaches.
The gentle
And
spirit moves all kind of a thing. That would be an Aikido
there was no
possibly.
gentle spirit there, I'll tell you that, when he was breaking my wrist. So
You got to toughen up, Bob. Anyways, so that's what I did. And this is the book that I wrote. And it does combine the body mechanics, injury prevention, as well as not just prevention, but once you do get injured, what do you do? If you have a concussion, what do you do? If you're an instructor and you want to be a good instructor and you want to be able to help your students when they have a pulled muscle and instruct them the proper way to treat it, it's in here. If you have children in martial arts, because there's a lot of kids in the martial arts, ages 5 and up, is really popular, and you're a parent, this is going to help you out. It's a short read. It's only 56 pages.
and it's Martial Arts Manual for Stretching, Strengthening, and Treatment of Common Injuries
there you go.
by Brad Heineck. I got the name down below, and if you just click the link down below in the description, it'll take you to Amazon. And how much is it, Brad?
$4.99.
$4.99. I think we can afford $5, huh?
Yeah, yeah, not $499. Yeah, just $4.99, and it's
Very reasonable.
Yep, I spent a lot of time in it. I think it's well written. And the three big things that, in my mind, I felt comfortable with my knowledge in the martial arts after 17 years. You can always improve, but I wasn't real keen on how to stretch and warm up. Well, were we doing it properly? Not just me, but my students. And then how to modify my training. If you want to get your kicks higher, your front kicks or your side kicks, what specific stretches should you do and how should you do them so you're not wasting your time or putting yourself at risk for injury?
And we did a video on that,
Yeah,
by the way.
we did do one.
And if I remember, I will put it at the end of this video.
Sure, okay.
So you can, a link to it right at the end, so
Sure.
you can watch that one on how, if you want to increase your kicks. That was a good video, Brad. Actually, I mean,
Yeah.
you spent a lot of time showing us how to do those
Well,
things.
we got one good one anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, and then treatment of injuries, because I really, as an instructor, did not feel real comfortable if someone hurt themselves. Wasn't confident, and now after 20 years of being a physical therapist, I'm very confident.
That part, probably better almost than the karate
Right.
now.
So actually, I've been
Martial
pretty much semi-retired from karate for the last 17 years, as long as I was doing it. That's why if you saw my punches and kicks on the bag, they're not too pretty right now.
Sure.
But anyways, I want to go into a couple examples of things
Okay.
that the book is going to show you how to do. The first thing is hamstring stretches, which is a critical muscle, often injured.
Sure.
And if you want higher front kicks, this is the one to work on. So why don't you just move a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I need a little room. Now,
Okay.
there's a lot of different ways to stretch the hamstrings and a lot of bad ways to stretch the hamstrings. This is one of my favorite ways to do it. Like this, keep the legs straight, the back straight, and we're just going to lean forward like this, focusing on straightening, keeping the legs straight and the pressure off of the back. Okay? And of course, 3 times 30 seconds if you really want a good stretch. You're probably not going to do this in the dojo or in the, with the class, because
What's
you
the
just don't
dojo?
have dojo. That's a traditional
That's where
name for the karate class.
That's where you. Oh, it is.
Where you
okay.
practice.
So this is something you want to work on your own, so you start getting the
Right.
flexibility.
You'll stretch out as a class, but you're probably not going to do that length because you just don't have enough time.
Sure.
Maybe some studios do.
That's just to get warmed up.
Exactly.
Really.
Another common hamstring stretch we used to do is just this one and lean to one leg over here, one leg over here. It's critical that you
Watch
keep.
that carpet. It's
Yeah,
moving
I
in
know
there.
it. The knee needs to be straight. If you bend the knee, the hamstrings are out. Keep the knee straight. It's one really critical biomechanical thing. And try to keep your back straight and just don't round your head over. The chest is going to the knee, not the nose. We're stretching the hamstring, not your back and your neck. Okay, those are really critical things to keep on. And just a couple of things I do bring
Gotcha.
up. Now, the other thing, and this is a big point of mine, strength versus endurance. And some people, I never really understood. I just thought you got to get stronger. You do whatever. You're going to go in the weight room and lift weights. You're going to do your running. You just work out. Just work out a lot.
Sure.
It's not the thing. As a matter of fact, when I was training for my black belt, I was in the weight room lifting, and one of my students actually, who knew more about fitness than I did, says, "What are you doing in the weight room?" He says, "You're plenty strong. You need to get in shape." And he was exactly right.
So the endurance was not there.
Right. I needed to work on endurance.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with getting stronger.
Right.
But to get through a black belt test is often
What factor is more important is the endurance than
Right.
over the strength.
Exactly.
So-
And that may differ from individual to individual. I do have that in the book on how you vary your repetitions with weight training to get endurance versus strength.
Sure.
Okay. And then the warm up. How are you going to warm up before you stretch? If you do want to stretch, it's good to get your heart rate up, get the core temperature up. It might be just a slow jogging, some jumping jacks. I'm not going to do them here because
Right.
we don't have the time. But those are some things that are really going to be helpful. Get the core temperature up. Let those muscles relax when you stretch. Make sure when you stretch you're breathing. And this is something that's always talked about in the martial arts. I'm preaching to the choir here.
One of the things I always feel like, and with like power athletes, the ones that like sprinters and stuff, you can overstretch before an event.
Oh.
What I mean?
Sure.
Sometimes that's why they like those dynamic stretches versus static
Right,
stretches.
exactly.
Static stretches is great to do, like you said, when you're not about to compete.
Right,
I mean,
right, exactly. One thing I did really find interesting from the biomechanics of the body with kicking. Why don't you come over here, Bob? If you're throwing a side kick, very popular, everyone knows it's one of the most powerful kick you have. If you want to break some boards, this is a nice kick to break some boards. So if I'm kicking here, Bob's holding it. Now I'm going to strike with my heel, which is a solid bone in the calcaneus in the ankle, and I'm going to pull. Can you get right on the heel? Not
Yeah,
over
she's
here, Bob.
pulling the toe.
You're right on my foot. If you can zoom right in on my foot.
You're pulling the toes toward you, aren't
Right.
you?
So we're dorsiflexing, pulling that, and so we're striking with the heel. So we got our hips in line, our knee in line, and we're getting all of our body weight into that 1 square inch of the heel. Now,
and plus, you're in a closed pack position, right?
that's
You're
what I
gonna talk
wanted
about
to
that,
get
yeah?
into, Bob. So when the heel,
I think we show on here even, like if the foot is down here, it's in a loose packed position,
Right.
it's not locked in.
Exactly.
But it goes up in here, now the joint is locked.
All the
and so it's
tendons and
solid.
ligaments are tight.
Yeah.
It's a very stable position for the ankle.
Right, it's not gonna, when it hit, it's not gonna vacillate like this, it's gonna hold. in
Oh,
the position.
vacillate, good one,
There we
Bob.
go.
You know, and if you look at that compared to the round kick, depending on how you're taught, we always taught people to kick with the top of the foot, which is just the opposite. Like Bob, it's an open or open pack, it's open and the joint is very unstable. Actually not a good way to kick if you want to save your ankle. If you kick hard with a round kick, you know that kind of hurts your ankle. It's because it's not very stable.
Sure, that makes sense.
If you kick and you dorsiflex, and I cannot do it, and you can pull your toes back and strike with the ball of your foot, and that's the way some people do teach. It's actually the better way to kick, as long as you can get your toes back. I talk about that in the book too and give you some good stretches on
I
how
can't
to.
even get my leg up there. This is as far as I go, Brad.
Yeah, it takes a while. I'm telling you,
That's pretty good for not having done it for 17 years.
yeah, because you know back then I could hold it up like that without someone holding it, but you know that's why
Chuck Norris action.
That's why we train, Bob. I go into other things about how if you pull a muscle, we always think you stretch a pulled muscle, but you don't. Well, you might, but you don't do it like we
Like
used
you-
to
like
do.
you
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah, there's good ways to treat injuries and there's bad ways. Learn the right ways so you don't have to go in and have things trained.
So again, the book is Martial Arts Manual for Stretching and Strengthening and Treatment of Common Injuries by Brad Heineck. Good job, Brad. Nicely done.
thank you. All right.
Make sure you order today.